Man, my bad. I took forever to get back to this. Just had to go through some shit. You know, if you know, you know. You know me. It's always something. But ain't nothing I can't handle. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm good though. Shit. Definitely. You know, trying to get in the consistency of this and really, what I'm saying, put put out there, do God's work, to because He give us life. He created us to co-create along with Him, the Creator. So whereas uh, counterparts, we're like His counterparts anyway. We're like the other Him in full expression, because Him as all that is. How do you experience you know I mean, he definitely has, but it's just like I want to see. I love to create shit. You know what I'm saying? Like who is the artist that loves the art and doesn't like to make art? You know what I'm saying? So all of this is art and theatrics and whatnot. But we'll get into that. All right. So let me just see if I can get it exactly. I'm probably not. I'm just gonna just let it go from here. Um, to where it left off in the last video. What was I about to say? Yeah. So we'll as we did as we've been doing, we just gonna go from there, and I'll stop it whenever I need to comment on something, or whatever. All right. Something to come here to oppose because, like I said, first there was darkness, then there was light. He said, "Then let there be light." So God is both good and bad. God created all things, the darkness and the light. And the light is a byproduct of the darkness. So that's to say, there had to be something to oppose this because what I believe or my philosophy or theory is on it is there the catalyst that helps us evolve into what we're supposed to be or what we're reaching towards because it takes um, like, for example, it's a relationship. It takes a partner, which all relationships serve as a catalyst to mirror the unconscious, because how are you going to see something on your face without a mirror, right? So it's showing us our weak points. It's showing us where we're vulnerable. It's showing us everything about us, the crevices, just like turning inwards. So it's a balance between the catalyst and turning inwards. So the catalyst is everything outside of us that's trying to destroy us. The the uh, the realization, the self actualization, or no, the self, the turning inwards is us actually doing the inner work and seeing everything for what it is and detaching from everything so we can see what it really is, and then being able to sift and really search and really put everything we got, every cell in our body towards finding the sacred and finding what we used to do, the tools we had, the healing, practices, you name it, all the practices, everything we used to do that they're trying to keep us away from because, um, as they say, in a new under the sun. I mean, you can't. I could say that, but then again, I don't know. That one's is a theory. It's in the wind. I don't. That could change. But I just throw that out there to put stuff into perspective. But that's to say, that we have to actually understand that how do we reach the peak of civilization and had all these things or did all these great things that is beyond what our comprehension now if we couldn't do it again And the whole point is to be able to do it again, but this time 10x that. That's the point of an opponent. That's the point of the powers that be. They're going to actually maximize on what we were in Atlantis, because we want to reach greatness. We say we want greatness. We want this. We want to be that, and wooty woo. But all of that shit is just fucking. It's lies. It's like it's fake, because that's why I say be careful what you wish for, because it's like that come with a price. Like, you're not gonna reach greatness without some horrific calamity or some motherfucking shit that you would never think that would happen, and then you think God's punishing you, but the whole time this is what you asked for. Because even if we're not consciously asking for it, we want comfort. They pacified us so much that we're no longer warriors. They pacified us so much to the point where we don't actually see things as it is, let alone see things at all. So that's to say, they weakened us to a point, but that weakening is going to ignite the warriors past their past lives potential, because now we have what I would say the saying, nothing's new under the sun. We're going to pass or transcend the technology and the means we had before, because now we're going to be that much more innovative and intelligent and in tune than we were before, because now we have like a better perspective and more endurance or more wherewithal. We're gonna have, because we actually been through something. It's like the difference between a person who does martial arts and a person who's been in war for decades. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, you go to the what's the word I'm looking for? The dojo. But to take on a soldier, somebody who's been fighting for their life for decades, is a difference between a person that's like, oh, they had military training, and somebody who's been in war like literally their whole life. So that's what that means. So we're going to be the ones that's been in war our whole lives, compared to, the ones that's inflicting the damage, because they're going to eventually have to be like, oh shit, or no, they gotta have to be nothing. They're going to be like, okay, well, everything that we tried didn't work, because obviously God is, or non-physical is supreme and absolute, so nothing can take him down, or it down, die down, not it, but die down. And they tried, they want to be God so bad, but that's their nature, that's what they were born to do. They don't understand it, they don't know God, so it's like, how can you blame them for something that God created them to do? God isn't even looking at us like that don't make no sense. So to shun them is out of the question. The whole thing we're supposed to do is to become so self-aware, so aware of our own bullshit, that we see past their bullshit, and then we see like glitches in the matrix of how to maneuver them and to use. It's like Aikido, using their attacks and deflecting it onto them without actually attacking, because whatever you put out, whatever your intention is your point of attraction. So then you're going to take on. That's the same thing they say. Be careful when fighting a monster, because you might become one. So that's that energy morphing into their energy, because it's like a paradox with war. You kill people to stop people from killing people, so you become the monster in the process. So it's like they're trying to make us like that, so we inadvertently or unknowingly become the thing that we hated the most, or that we were trying our best not. So like, not just the thing that we hated, because we might not even hate it, because like I was saying is it's more so of you want every, as far as I'm concerned, everybody wants peace among everybody. You know what I'm saying? We all want to, do what we do, and all that, right? And just live. But I would hope. But it'll be like, you know, not even necessarily against them, even though we might feel some type of way about what they do while we're in this human perspective. Meaning, like, so from the higher perspective, you like, well, yeah, I know your nature or your purpose in life is to throw shade or is to combat me, to attack me, or people like, God's people. So that way, it's like a catalyst to what's the word I'm looking for? To propel you forward in your growth. You know what I'm saying? Because like, if you had nothing to push against, if there was no weights in the gym, you wouldn't really, you know what I'm saying? You're not really building nothing. So yeah, so it's mainly like, it's not necessarily a hate for them, but it's like you're accepting, you're not accepting the okay, so that's why I use keto, because like it's using their offense and taking it and just redirecting the same energy, because energy can't be destroyed. It's like you just redirecting the energy back at them that they threw at you. So really, it's the same thing as they say, like, don't accept the invitation. So that's to say, like, if somebody tries to throw some shade your way, and you just look at them like, well, what now? And they just sitting there like pulling their hair out and shit because you didn't get mad. And it's just like, okay, well, I see you need some therapy, and I'm gonna go on about my day. And it's just like, so really, that's the analogy I was going for. It's like, instead of absorbing what they throw at you and then changing your frequency to what their attack is, so you're now lowering your vibration, so now you are susceptible to lower level entities and experiences in life, right? Instead of doing that, you just transmute it like the alchemist. You know what I'm saying? You just like, nope, I hear you. You know what I'm saying? It's like a kid screaming at you while you're working from home. They're children. They just want some attention. They don't actually want anything. They just want, you know what I'm saying? They just want some attention. And then maybe if they are, malevolent, and they're like seriously got some serious problems, then they just want to stop you because they see the light in you that you might not even see. So their whole intent, their whole everything is put towards distracting you or tricking you out of your spot. Putting you in a trick bag to where, like, say, you got a person that antagonizes you at work, so that way you lose your job, and then you end up homeless, losing your car, losing your family. You know what I'm saying? It's just this spiral down, and it's just like, oh, okay, so I see what you're trying to do. So why would I don't care what it looks like. This ain't high school. I can't just fight you, you know what I mean, and expect to get suspended and come back the next week. No, I'll lose my job. I'll lose everything. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, there's charges and all type of shit now, right? As an adult. But just saying, to put it in perspective of the whole you becoming a monster, because once you hit that spiral down, you're going to become bitter, because you're like, one, you have a self, you have resentment towards yourself because you let yourself be taken out of your body. You know what I'm saying? They tricked you out of your spot, off your throne, whereas you were supposed to sit there calmly and not let it get to you, and you let them trick you out your spot, and you're spiraling down, meaning you're losing everything just based off of one emotion. That's why, especially as men, we have to keep our emotions in check. Now, I hate, I'm still working on it, so I'm not in any way trying to say like, I just got it, down pat and all figured out. I'm just saying that's something we need to actively work on every single day, because, people is, especially when they know you going somewhere, or you got the light. You know what I'm saying? You in God's grace, God's favor, highly favored. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, they're gonna try to get you. You know, so the one thing you can't do is um, lose your relationship or your bond with God by feeding into what they do, because you know if it's not something, because even physically, I would say, because I didn't have people do shit physically to me. You know what I mean? Like uh, they would bump into me or something while I'm in the gas station or grocery store, and you know what I mean? Like they try to do shit because they know they want that reaction. So then that way, if I decide to fight them, I'm going to jail because I reacted to some shit that I knew they were trying to trigger me with. Cause you know I grew up in the hood. You don't do that. But then when I went to jail, I seen them doing that in there, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. So he could have fought dude for doing that, but he didn't. Probably, I don't know if it's like maybe he didn't, maybe he just built up or he was somewhere else in his mind. Regardless, how it influenced me was keep that shit in check. If they not actively like, if they not like throwing a punch at your face, then you shouldn't engage, because it's like it's not that serious, you know, like because you know where you're headed is the utmost serious. You have to take that has to take priority over any feeling you come across. I don't care, cause like I was reading um, one of Anthony T. Browder's uh, books, where he was talking about like we would train ourselves as black people. We would train ourselves, you know, before we go out to the world. I forgot exactly what he was talking about, so don't quote me on this. I'll have to read it and I'll find it and I'll show you. But like they would have train each other like by pulling each other's hair, blowing smoke in each other, you know, in their faces, and you know what I'm saying. So that way you knew what you would. That way you built a tolerance, a resilience to the stuff you about to go out into the world and face. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that. It's like your enemies is low key training you on the stuff that, you know what I'm saying. Say you struck gold, right? Your business blew up. You hit the lottery or something, and you get all this high status, and you know what I mean, all this money, all this wealth, and you trick it off because somebody, you know what I'm saying, said some sucker shit to you, or bumped into you in the mall or the grocery store, right? For dumb shit. Now you in jail, now you got charges, now you lose all your money, your house, your family. You know what I'm saying? Just dumb shit for what? And it's just like, yeah, it's never that serious. But I definitely had it happen so many times over the years. It's to the point where that was my training. That was like God showing me like, hey, before I bless you, I need you to fix this. I need you to get this shit checked. I need you to get this shit down pat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many celebrities get tried but they don't do nothing because they know that's the whole point of the person trying them, is so that way they trick them out their spot, and or out, you know, out their bag, whatever, right? Even when it comes to your bag, you know, that'd be the main thing motherfuckers don't play with. And niggas will try to trick you out your bag. I didn't have that happen to me. That's a long story in and of itself. So and it's just like, but if I come after you, that's my karma. You know, like y'all ever hear the saying where the Buddha would be like, how I go? Anger or hatred. Anger, yeah, I think it's hatred. Regardless of which one it is. But hatred is like swallowing poison and hoping that the other person dies. Or maybe it's anger, but regardless, you get the analogy. It's saying like, whatever you do, that's your karma. That's your responsibility, your dharma. You know, that's what you tie into your frequency, your vortex, your, you know what I'm saying? Like what you tie into your energetic field, you know? So whatever intent, whatever thoughts, whatever you speak, whatever You know what I'm saying? All of these different levels is all being reflected into your, how it was put to me was, it's like, imagine if all your thoughts and your tensions and everything was appeared on your skin. You know what I'm saying? Like tattoos, you know? So it's just like, God sees all that shit you think you hiding, right? So even if, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you have to keep a pure heart, be centered and grounded no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that way you won't be moved, you know? Because it's God's battle. You know, glory be to God. Because it's God's battle. So he trained you, he made you, trained you, so that way you can, you as, one of his generals or foot soldiers, whatever rank you are. It's just like, like, hey, when I wake up in the morning, first thing I should be doing is, one, praising God, thanking God, right? Two, hey, what do I need to work on within myself to make sure I can face everything that is going against my Father or going against uh, uh, my Creator, the Supreme, you know what I mean? The Absolute, non-physical, Allah, whatever you call them, right? The universe. Uh, so that way you can be ready for, your blessings upon also the lessons, you know. But we'll get back to this. I just had to, throw my, my stuff in, because that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get this done, so then that way, um, I can move on and just make all new content.
To be, because we were righteous. And that's how the devil or God pulls people into hell, because it's like, I gave you the option, yet you chose this. But what do you do in that situation? Do you just die, or do you fight? That's another question for another time. But really, the reality is, you are your own point of attraction, no matter what phase you're in, what situation is presented to you, or a circumstance. You are your own point of attraction. So whatever intention you have, whatever thoughts you have, whatever emotions you have, whatever actions you do, will all be reflected in your reality. So, that's another thing. You are what you consume with all your senses. So every single thing, I was saying this earlier, every single thing plays a part into how everything unfolds for you. From the way you eat, the way you think, like your parents, the genetics, their traumas, everything is a culmination. It's like this giant fucking avalanche of shit. It's just picking up more snow. The snow is the culmination, or all the things I just listed. And then some.
And more. Yeah, and then some.
So understanding that culmination, or that giant avalanche, snowball, whatever, tornado, because, the toroidal field, to understand the toroidal field, or the tornado, which is your full, full self with all your bodies, including the environment and everything, then that's to understand what you need to work on to become, to transcend all this shit, so that way, because once you ignite your fire, once you become in balance, everything around you starts to shift. And then because our hearts communicate telepathically. So once you ignite your fire within, then you go around others, or you speak life into them, and it flips a switch on in them, or it lights their fire. Whereas everybody was walking around either dim lights or completely burnt out, because that's the way society is designed and the way they program us to be. But that's why you have people like us who come in and ignite people's fires, because yes, we had to, like the sun, you have to burn in order to shine light. The light attracts darkness. The sun is up there alone, surrounded by infinite darkness, infinite nothingness. And there's stars here and there and shit like that, but ultimately, when you're the sun, you don't notice the stars. And even if you do, it's like, well, compared to the type of darkness that is casted by the light I shine, you can you can literally help me with nothing. Like you
Ah,
help a little bit, just like
no, actually, no. So that would be equated to, um, like, there's people who are on their path, like you are, but maybe not shining as bright. I wouldn't even say that because that's like to diminish or to downplay their importance or their roles or whatever. But just saying, like, I would say there's people who are old souls, young souls, people who are budding and who are in full blossom. You know what I mean? And then there's also people who have, that's just like wilted. You know what I'm saying? So this is definitely the levels to this, right? But the point I'm getting at is that I was saying, like, okay, so the sun is the sun. So it's so bright you can't even see, the stars, but that's not true because like when people come and that's like, okay, that person, they on their path. I can feel that, at least you trying, you know what I mean? Or at least God, seeing something in you. It ain't like void or just, you just unconscious and you know what I mean? But no, that's not accurate. It's not necessarily that you don't see the stars. It's just that you're engulfed in flames from all the shit you have to deal with. That infinite darkness I was talking about. That you don't notice sometimes yeah, the infinite blessings. Because I don't think there's a number amount to how many stars is in the sky. You feel me? So the little things. Like how they say, enjoy the little. It's the little things. The little small blessings, regardless if it's something that made you laugh, something made you smile, you find in love, whatever, right? And of course, you have to detach yourself from all of that to transcend, um, and become the sun yet again, or I guess not become the sun because you already, you know what I'm saying. But it's just like so that way you can uh, tap back in fully. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of this stuff is catalyst to add to the experience, so we get that soul growth or the experience that it's yearning or it wants, that it's looking for. But it's still like you have to return back to self every time. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, no, definitely not that the stars isn't noticeable. It's just more so of, you know, you're going through this infinite darkness, but you're the sun. So you know how important you are. You know what I'm saying? Do you realize the gravity of what I just said? That's more of what I was getting at. Like it's so much that you're going through that you don't even notice the little things. But at the same time, you also don't notice your importance in the grand scheme of things. So it's just like, even though you got to burn to shine, you still, you know, what gives life, you know? So, yeah, I just had to correct that, Like I was saying last time, there's going to be certain things where I comment on is to correct it because, I'm learning every day. And then maybe I just was going on a rant and just, I don't know, somewhere in my thoughts that led somewhere else. But, as long as I'm actively working on myself every day, I can get further and further, closer and closer to my truth. You know what I'm saying? So that way when I give it to you, it's not like through pain or trauma or whatever, where it's like, you know what I'm saying, no good for you. So, but yeah, that's why I also like, free flow conversations, like not flow, but like freestyling. You know what I mean? Like when I'm actively engaging with another person, because then it's not as skewed as me and my thoughts. It's more so of like, you know, I'm thinking about pouring into you because I understand we're all God. So when I'm talking to you, I'm channeling, source, so that way I can bless you. You know what I'm saying? It's like reciprocal. It's like, how do I say it? It's like how all rivers lead to the ocean. It's like that's what I'm supposed to do is pour into you. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't help it. So, and plus, who doesn't want to help people, right? But yeah, just saying like it's definitely something where it's like it's gonna be 10 times better rather than me just talking to a screen, right? When I'm actively engaging in conversation or whatever they want to call this, you know, um, not this, but like they say, podcasting, cipher. I didn't heard it called a lot of things, right? But yeah, you know, being able to actually talk to someone and to feel like I'm, you know, then it's easier for me to tap into flow is what I'm getting at.
The moon, like it's because of the sun that the moon shines. So really, the stars are like little suns, but not to say they're irrelevant, but just saying like that's like you being Neo in the Matrix and expecting a whole bunch of you know not NPCs, but like not main characters to be able to help you in ways that nothing can because you are the source. You know what I mean? So you have to shoulder everything alone. That's the part where it's like the hero's journey where you save yourself because nobody's going to save you. God don't save you. God knows he's you and you're him, and that you need to do this yourself, and you need to activate yourself to activate him for him to help you. So you gotta do all the inner work, all the grit, all the shit that you don't want to do, being embarrassed, being manipulated, being injured, pain, suffering, despair, all the full spectrum of emotions. You need to tap all the way in for you to fully activate, and then once you activate, then you can really make create the life you want and make a difference how you were born to do. But until then, it's just all fucking speculations and scriptures and shit like that. None of it matters if people don't actually pick up what you laying down. That's why I make it a point. I'll speak because I understand the power of planting a seed, but I also know that you can't rush a flower to grow, and you got.
Excuse me. So God does save you, but I feel like, you know what I'm saying, not in the sense of, oh, I lost everything. If I just sit here and pray and wish upon a star, I'ma just not, I'ma have a home. I won't be homeless anymore. I'll have reliable income. It won't be like that. It'll be like something where, divine intervention. It's like, okay, this car was going 70, and as soon as they was about to crash into you, they veered off to the left. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could feel it coming, but you also felt that interference where it's like, oh shit, and that was like the angels are non-physical, being like, nope, you know what I'm saying, and moving them. But so that's divine intervention. Not to say that God won't save you while you're in danger. I'm not saying that he, if it's your time, it's your time, but or if it's just unfortunate and misfortune or whatever, and it just has to be injury or whatever, right? Just saying like he does, but it's not in that sense of You know, like saying, I guess that'd be a little contradictory to what I was saying at first. Meaning, like, okay, so you you are God. God is you. You know, so you're just you know, like a cell in His body, not even that big. And I don't mean He as in like that's what I believe. It has a physical. You know, I always make the joke He don't got like a dick He could just pull out and slap you across the face with. No, I'm saying like He, as in the attributes. You know, so it's more so of so you understand there's both masculine and feminine, but it's the energy. It's not nothing, about the flesh. It's nothing. It's beyond that, So it's just to give understanding to people who might not uh, grasp that concept of it being non-physical. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, back to what I was saying. So to save us isn't necessarily, you know what I'm saying, because it's the infinite intelligence that spins the planet that's inside of you. So really, for him to let something happen to you is it happening to him and stopping his plan. So, or your plan, or it gets like, what's going on here? But no, yeah. So it's really just, you know, that's what I mean. Like, it's you saving you, but at the same time, it is him. But it's like, you just got to keep in mind that. You ever hear that saying where they be like, the scariest thing about life is that you're the only one here. So if you know, you know. Okay, so put it like this. This is some shit to break down. Okay, so yeah, you saving yourself essentially, still, even though God, because like they say, it's like for God to help you, you have to pray on it, right? You have to ask. That's the reason why they made it where we couldn't learn how to read and write. Because the spoken word, the written word, and then teaching us the language that is, backwards curses and all this shit, right? So many key components to how they fucked us up, right? So we'll get into that later, but just saying like, so you understand that all of this was needed, and that's the reason why it's like, okay, so first is intent, like most of it is, whereas what's in your energetic field, like God can hear what you're not saying, you know what I'm saying? God can, what you can't even put into words, so when you're sending out that signal, it's like, that is the ultimate prayer, because you could say all the affirmations or whatever you want, but if that's not active in your vortex, your aura, your core frequency, it's not going to happen for you. I don't care how much affirmations you do. So, but yeah, don't get me wrong, words are spells. So in a sense, you are conjuring or casting a spell to get God to come and help or manipulate things for you, right? But yeah. So, but yeah, just saying it is definitely still you. So that's the reason why it's a culmination. It's a combination of both what you do, what you think, your intentions, or not combination. It's a culmination of all the things that go into it. So your core frequency, so like even what you believe on a subconscious level, interferes with what you think on a conscious level, and those interfere with what you're doing in life. Like why can't I, get stable financial stability, and it's just like you don't believe it on some level, or you're not thinking it actively, like saying affirmations to evoke that, to conjure that. And then also you got to keep in mind outside influences. So say you deal with witches, warlocks, um, people who have negative intentions for you, then yes, you're going to, especially like if they've been working on you your whole life, you know what I'm saying? Then you'll know like, oh, okay, so that's part of the reason why you can never get a break in your life. Like then it's like, oh, okay, I understand now. But yeah, so pretty much what you would have to do is you have to, I would say, tap it all the way in. You know what I'm saying? And that's so much easier said than done. Don't get me wrong, but just saying like, because then I feel like you'll find the routes that you need to take to get that shield or that armor of God. You know what I mean? And also your sword too, to cut off anything before it even hits the armor. So definitely want to deal with the angels and the fairies. Definitely want to study yourself and do all the inner work, cleaning up the temple so much that God just feel like, oh shit, I'd be tripping not going to sit up in there. That's this, our bodies is his throne, So when you make the inside good, you clean it up and make it real inviting, real comfortable. It's like a sanctuary. You got plants everywhere, crystals everywhere. He just like, let me get comfortable in here. And then it's like, so when your enemies come for you, it's just like, oh, they done fucked up because God's sitting right there in you. But that's what they're trying so hard to keep us away from, because they're like, if they get in tune with, if they get they self right, if they become whole again, like if they get they in alignment with source, and then source just comes sits inside, just sits inside of them, the seat of the soul, right? I would say both, but yeah, then all that shit they threw at you, one, they gonna feel God and probably burn, like they gonna get, they gonna have some shit go left as they attack you, or they probably won't even approach you. They like, fuck all that. No, they got source like right there in them. I don't care what demons, devils you work with. It ain't gonna be smart for you to attack somebody that's that tapped in. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll get into that later more. But just had to throw that out there, is that you saving yourself because you're doing the inner work to get back in alignment with God. Like they always say, you gotta pray, you ask, and then it's given. So really the asking is the action, what you're doing to get in alignment with, all the levels, regardless if it's intention, subconsciously, working on your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, your emotions, what I'm saying? Every level, once you get all your bodies, your physical, mental, emotional, mental and spiritual bodies in alignment, what I'm saying? You activate, your light body, you tap into God frequency, and yeah, you a whole another animal, or not even animal, you God now. So it's gonna be like, yeah, no, ain't none of that. I know what they was trying to do, but that's what they trying to keep us away from. But then you got light workers, or people who tapped into their gifts to help people, activate, to activate, or to light their fire inside them, to to give them enough guidance to save themselves. That's why all the churches and stuff want you to go to them, the middleman, to get to the source, because they literally the gatekeepers that's stopping you from getting there. Maybe it's to each his own though, because I didn't met some people who are religious that was pretty tapped in, and I'm like, oh, okay, I thought it was void here, but you learn something every day. But not to say that all of them like that, or because even some spiritual, that's why I always say is everything is neutral until how it's used. So like people, like there's good and bad in everything. There's good spiritual people, there's bad spiritual people, there's good religious people, there's bad religious people, there's good witches, there's bad witches, there's good, what I'm saying? There's good and bad at everything. So it's just what one are you dealing with? So I got lucky to see both the good religious people and the bad religious people. You know what I'm saying? So really, it's some shit out here. It's a big world, as I always say. It's a big world out here. So uh, anything that you think doesn't exist or ain't happening, oh yeah, it's happening. It exists. So yeah, definitely want to become so tapped in that you know, you're able to like be like Neo in the Matrix. You know, you got God with you. You seeing the zeros and ones, the binary codes. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, oh, okay. So now I can stop bullets and motherfucking go through walls and shit. Because that's originally what we were supposed to be able to do. But, you know, we fell from consciousness, or we fell from grace, as they say. You know, it made it to where everybody was dumbed down. And then they wanted to put, like I was saying in, I think, the last video, put military bases on all the chakra points, like the meridians for your body, on all the chakra points of the earth. So then that way it keeps it at a lower vibration. So that way they can exploit, you know, and they can take, you know, have full control of us and stuff like that. But you know, God is God. So I don't know how long they thought that was going to work. Because you see us all waking up and shit. And it's just like tapping into gifts and shit. Like, I was just watching a video earlier where it was like, yeah, back in 2008, if you was to talk about the shit that people be talking about now, they'd lock your ass up somewhere, you know what I mean? They'd try, you know, but now it's so commonly, you know, so many people, even though they're not broadcasting that like on TV or the media and stuff like that, they're trying to keep it away from that. You know, that was also something they said in that video, was they trying to play it like they ignoring it, so that way that's their tactic to see if they can, because they don't know what else to do. They like, oh shit, didn't plan for this. You know, well, the only thing we can really do now is just, you know, ignore it, hope it goes away or something. I don't know what they thinking. But so many people waking up is just like, what do you do with that? Especially when you done told them their whole life that, you know what I'm saying, all that shit was, you know, trying to make people feel like they was crazy and whatnot, right? So, yeah, but just saying, like, I'll let get back to the video, but, the shit, but I definitely need to get that up and running, get that out of my storage, so we don't have no more of that problem. Well, no, it definitely will, but I'm gonna get some new equipment as soon as I get back on my shit. Get me a fucking camera with the storage, like the SD cards and shit. Get a terabyte on your ass. Then I'll be talking forever. Can't stop shit. But you know. Yeah, so we'll get into, you know, you see where I'm going. Like this is about to get deep. So buckle up.
Be careful when you're trying to put people on game or teach people who aren't ready for what you're teaching, because it could do more damage than good. It's like being the sun, and they're asleep. They're in their room, pitch black. It's curtains shut. You know what I mean? Just completely in darkness. And then you come in there, the whole fucking sun. You're gonna singe their ass. Fuck singe their ass. You're gonna obliterate their ass. But not intentionally. The whole point was because you was trying to save them. But if you bring the sun in and they had no type of preparation, meaning like the preparation is they have to be on their journey already, which is, for an analogy, that's like them already becoming light body, right? So if they're light body and they're not the full sun yet, then you have to be cognizant. You have to be.
So if they're in their light body, or they're activating, like in the process of it, then how the sun gonna burn you if you already in your light body? Like when you're fully on, you're tapped in like completely to source, then it's like you're the sun. You know, you activated the solar plexus. So now it's just like your whole frequency is gold. Like, I mean, your whole aura is gold, you know? gold soul, theory, as they say, right? That's a joke, but yeah, you're activated, you're tapped in, like God is in you, like sitting, like they can look in your eyes and see Him. Yeah, then it's like okay, but if they're like just moving towards that, they're still on their journey, which it's always a process of, because that's something you have to. It's like trying to, what's the saying they say where they be like, um, to fit, was it a camel through a needle? Oh no, find a needle in a haystack, something like that. Anyway, it's like very hard to keep, I want to say, keep God in you at all times. Like to where it's like He's right here. Like you know what I'm saying? He's inside of you. Like He's like, yeah, yeah, I'm right here. And it's just like um, it's very hard to do that. Like to maintain it, because when you do it, it's like you don't even notice. You just doing what you should be doing, and then all of a sudden you feel God's presence inside of you. And you're like, whoa. And it's like, I knew I was doing the work, but damn. And but so when you come to people who are asleep, you trying to help them, right? But you don't realize that that's like bringing the sun into a completely pitch black room, and they're in their sleep, and you're just the sun in the room with them. Of course they're going to attack you. They're like doing everything they can to, you know what I'm saying? But if they're like already on their journey, then it's like it doesn't burn them because one, they're up, and two, they're already, somewhat on fire, So maybe not like you, but but they'll get there, and then by being around you, you know what I'm saying, like an amplifier, uh, fire only wants to get bigger, right? That's what they teach you in school. So it's just like once they like a match, and then they get around the sun, it's like, well, now that done made both of y'all stronger. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so that was the point I was getting at, was that yeah, never try to force people, because I remember when I first woke up, I was trying to get people to listen to me so bad, like, no, the Matrix, they're the government, they're doing this, they're doing that. This is what you got to do to wake up. You know what I'm saying? Trying to help people, not knowing that it was doing more damage than good. And it was just like, oh, I learned after so many attacks and after so many years, like, nah, you go and you help the people who are receptive, that's in resonance with what you are and what you're saying and what you're doing. So then that way it'll actually benefit them rather than afflict damage on them. Because, like, you ever hear how people be like, don't open your third eye or your activate your kundalini because you'll go crazy and all this and that, right? It's just negative shit about it. Negative, yeah. So that's from people, I believe, who either has negative intentions for everybody and just want people to stay asleep so they can be controlled, or they're people who got woke up too early and now they're just lashing out at everybody. You know what I mean? Because a person that activates it, unless, they wicked by nature, you probably did see some shit in your soul that you wish you hadn't seen, right? But, yeah. So I feel like they was woken up too early, premature birth or whatever. Woke up too early. Now they got a headache, a migraine, and they just lashing out at everybody, just mad at the world because it's just like, why the fuck would you wake me up knowing that I only had, 2 hours of sleep? An hour, 30 minutes, after I've been working 12-hour shifts, right? So, yeah, that's how I try to imagine it. That's my analogy for it. It's like, only try to help the people who are receptive to it. Because I remember I used to just try to pour into everybody I came in contact with, which I still have innate. It's innate because you want to help people, but it's just like you got to know when to hold yourself back and be like, nah, that person wouldn't get it anyway. You know, that person isn't receptive anyway. So why would I do that? And then on top of that, it might do more damage than good. So it's best to just play it, you know, smooth, cool. Be like, oh, you know, just talk to them about sports or something. I mean, I don't watch sports, but you get what I'm trying to say. Video games, something other than, um, you know, light body activation and motherfucking tapping in the source, you know, and becoming your greatest version, you know, in all the ways that you do that and all of that comes with, right? But yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a huge lesson that I wish I would have knew from the start. So I'll be glad to share that with y'all. Is don't rush people. Don't rush a flower to grow. Don't expect people to just understand, um, you know, what you're saying, or to be receptive, or even be ready to hear it. They might not. This might not be their lifetime for that. You know. So, um, do them a solid if they're not already. Like, you will know. Like, I think I heard that earlier in a video I was watching. They will say something to that lets you know, like, oh, I'm on this frequency. So then you like, you know, because you know people who tapped in, we just like, what? Hold on, what'd you say? Oh, okay. So I can talk to you about this. But then when you're talking to somebody who's unconscious or who's still on their path that's trying to move towards there, don't rush them to grow, because you know you rush a flower to grow, you shine a motherfucking UV ray light on that motherfucker's plant is gonna burn, right? Or you know, it's like trying to torch that motherfucker, right? No good. So yeah, it's just pretty much saying like when a person's in their process and they're not at a particular place that you can work with, then just let them be. You know what I'm saying? You can throw them little seeds and shit. You know, never underestimate the power of planting a seed, but still, you got to be careful of how you handle them, because human people are fragile, you know, like, so they're, you know, you got to handle them with care, like, you know, God is in you and you're moving with God's grace and you know, intent, and you know what I'm saying, like, you're really trying to, you know, you just take more measures, you're more intense or strategic of how you handle people, because you understand this is God's work. So it's able for you to be like, oh, okay, well, God's given me the download of back off, or only talk to him about this, but just being in your presence. You know, you just talking about basketball. You know, you just going to or play basketball with them, right? Even though, like, they say we shouldn't be around people when they're not on our frequency because it'll lower ours. Like, say if you have to, like it's work or like family or something like that, something, or a situation where you have to, then it's just like by being around you, you know, even if it's just touch and go, you know, just being around you, you know, our hearts communicate telepathically, so it's just like, okay, you know, you're not there right now, but in due time, you know. And if it's not this life, it just wasn't meant to be right now. But, you know, just from you coming in contact with me, it's like, yeah, you might not even notice the results. That person, everybody growing, unless people are, you know, just not meant to wake up. Like, I do believe that some people are just, you know, there's the main characters, and then there's NPCs. You know, some people not supposed to, you know, wake up or to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're the ones that, you know, it's like fillers. So yeah, I definitely believe, because like once we wake up, once God becomes dominant and present on the earth again, then the rest of the world will follow suit, because we get to changing everything. You know, the gods be like, you know, we get to building pyramids and shit again, temples, you know? So it's just like, the whole world's like, oh shit, you feel that? Or You see that or whatever way we coming, they like, oh yeah, no, that's undeniable. I don't care what the rest of the people be saying. Like then it's just like more people is like, oh yeah, I can't be a sheeple at this point. I can't be a follower at this point because it's just like, you know. And then even if they are, you know, like how much you want to bet when Tahuti was still here, and he's the ancient priest king of Atlantis, right? So how much you want to bet there's still people who are followers just because they have somebody follow? So there's just everybody can't be a leader, so there has to be followers. There has to be people who, without guidance, probably wouldn't know what to do with themselves. That's the reason why the world's in the condition it is. It's like once the leaders got taken out, then it was just like everybody just fell victim because, you know, all the tactics that went into that. Of course, yes, the fall from grace and all that, right? And we you know, once the serpent started working his way through everything and all that, right? But you know, this is getting drawn out, and I'd rather finish this first before I keep going.
Aware that they need time before they have to reach light body before they could withstand, you know,
It's
the
at
sun.
an hour.
Because they say the sun is a portal to heaven anyway. That's another story. But
Maybe I should stop it because these shit be taking a long time to upload. Like a motherfucker. Yep. Yep. Definitely should probably upload this now. And then come back and I'm probably ain't gonna feel like it after that, but we about to figure this out.